What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Ask E Everything. I want to wish everyone a happy first day of summer. Regardless of when you're viewing this, it's a great time. Summer solstice, always a great day, full of positivity. Hopefully the weather's nice where you are. I've got a heat wave going on here, a lot of great sun, high humidity, pretty perfect day for the first day of summer. Also want to wish everyone a happy International Surfing Day, which is today as well, appropriately on the first day of summer. Rocking the O'Neill Surf Lover hat here today in honor of that. If you haven't tried actual surfing, if you're just a social media surfer or a web surfer, do yourself a favor and take a surf lesson at some point when you get near the coast. Go out, spend the money, take a surf lesson. It'll change your life. It really will. And you'll learn a lot about yourself doing it. The question today, everyone, is why do we use negative energy to try to achieve positive outcomes? In other words, why is it that we put negative frame of mind and energy and attention in the direction of positivity? When we're trying to get a positive outcome, or when we're trying to make positive change, for example, why is it that we're fueled by negative emotions, and what are the consequences of this? This came about really in the past several weeks, as I've been watching all of the horrible racial injustice and police reform and coronavirus BS that's going on. And really what got me thinking was when I kind of stopped after this kind of series of watching a bunch of like rally videos and protest videos, and I was seeing all of the anger, frustration, sadness, just plain hatred, and kind of just all of these toxic emotions being played out before me. And my question to myself was, how do we use these negative emotions and these negative energy sources to create a positive outcome? And when I asked myself that question, I kind of stopped in my own tracks and ended up having to think about an entirely different set of thoughts for the next hour or so when I first came across this, because I realized there is no way to achieve a positive outcome with a negative approach, right? If you really think about it, how can we achieve positivity? How can we head in the direction of positivity and head in the direction of goodness when our attitude, our energy, our emotions, and really our just frame of mind or state of mind are negative? The answer is that this is impossible to do. There's nothing scientific, mathematic, or just sensical about this approach. My problem was I started to realize that a lot of times, collectively and as individuals, when we're seeking to head in a positive direction, we spend so much time on the negativity that we literally limit ourselves from actually having the tools and the mind and the general capability to actually ever get there, or to get there in the most effective way, to get towards or get in the direction or get landed in that positive place, which is ultimately our goal when we set out to do this. And as I've mentioned many times on this channel, there's just this general propensity that I feel like to, that exists, that I feel exists, where we focus on the negative and we spend so much time focusing on what's wrong or what we don't like about the situation, that we're literally effectively wasting all of the time and energy we could be using to head in that direction of positive outcome. We do this as individuals. We also do this collectively as a community. And the way I see it, this is not the most effective way that we could be achieving the success that we hope to achieve. So the answer to the question, really, why do we take this approach? Why do we go at positive goals and positive outcomes in the kind of in the pursuit of positive outcomes with all this negative energy? And the answer is pretty simple. It's because we're emotive people. We're full of emotions. And so when we see something that's wrong and we want to change it, and we want to, make it not happen anymore, or to stop it from existing or persisting, our reaction, because we're judging the thing that's wrong, that's happening, incorrectly, or that's happening immorally, or that's happening in a disrespectful way, our reaction to that is to have these negative emotions. We get pissed off, we get upset, we get mad, we get, like I said, kind of brimming up with this like anger and hatred, and just kind of wanting to just be use force and aggression. And this is a natural reaction, and albeit a healthy one in a way, because we do have to process those emotions as we are considering what's affecting us. But when we use those emotions, or when we think to ourselves that we can use those emotions as our motivation and as our inspiration to actually achieve positivity or make positive change to that situation, we're fooling ourselves. Because if we're so focused with all of our energy on that negativity, on being upset, on being mad, on being scared, on being, just feeling disrespected, we literally are setting a course to continue to follow in that direction, and trying to construct positivity, or to make positivity, or to make a positive outcome out of sheer negativity. Well, one could argue that you may be able to get there through that, like, when you feel threatened, or when you feel angry, and you just have you just react to something and it creates a positive outcome. Someone could make that argument, but at the end of the day, I just don't see it that way. I don't see it as being something that I can subscribe to or can believe is true. And if you're curious about it for yourself, take a situation in your life where you set out to make a positive change in your life for yourself. Maybe one in which no one else was involved, and that'll keep it very simple and basic. When you want to make positive change for yourself, you need to have a positive state of mind and a positive, energy to achieve that. But again, what happens is we get so set on the things that we want that we don't want to do anymore, right? So depending on what it is, let's say it's a fitness change, or a financial change, or something like that. Pick any area where you wanted to improve, right, or to make your life better. And all we focus on as we're preparing to try to make it better is how terrible it is to be in the current state, or how much we dislike being in the current state, or how, bad it feels to be in the current state. And as we wallow in, the current state, we realize that we're not getting anywhere. Right? It's not until we actually turn that corner and we start to look in the direction of where we want to be and what we want to get out of ourselves, or how we want to improve, that we're able to then focus our energy there, or our attention there, and then proceed in that direction and achieve the goal. Now again, you can make the argument that it's important to be present in what you dislike about a situation in order to understand where you want to be, or where you're hoping a situation can end up with some hard work. But the reality is there's zero sense in staying there much longer than just to acknowledge it. And the more we look backward, and the more we look, to our past and just to the way that we've been, the more you're going to be trapped there, and the more you're going to continue to just head in that direction. Versus actually being able to say, hey, all right, this is something that I want to improve about myself. I no longer want to do this, or I no longer want to be this way. So instead of, saying, but I've been this way for so long, or this is how, terrible I've been, with regard to this topic, the idea is to say, okay, I've acknowledged that, but here's where I want to go. So here are the examples of how I'd like to be, or here are the ways that I'd like to be. This is the outcome that I would like to achieve. And instantly, as soon as you make that switch just in your mind, you're going to be heading in that direction, because that's where your focus and your attention are. It's like that great quote, where focus goes, energy flows. This is very true. If you're focused and your attention is on the negative side of things, on the negative aspects of whatever topic or scenario that we're talking about, your energy is naturally going to follow as being negative. It's very hard to focus on the negativity of something and have a positive energy come out of that. You have to actually flip your script in your mind to being positive, to say, okay, this is the bad, this is the good I want to achieve, and therefore, when you focus your attention on the positive direction and on that goal, whatever the goal is you're trying to achieve, you will naturally head in that direction in a positive way, and with the energy that is much more capable of making you much more successful in that pursuit. And not to get too deep into the scientific side of things, but regardless of how you think or what you believe, there's definitely, some common sense proof that pursuing something with a negative attitude, or with a fearful or an angry attitude, where your body literally has reacted and kind of closed your mind and focused only on like survival or fight or flight, or just adrenaline, or just reaction. You may have a path that will work heading in that direction, but it's just such a more narrow-minded approach, versus acknowledging that and saying, okay, deep breath, but I'd like to head in the positive direction now. The minute you do that, your body will calm down, your mind will open up, and you'll have a lot more at your disposal to work with to actually achieve what you're looking to achieve. So, a lot of this is easier said than done, right? It's very hard to check our emotions, specifically when they are negative, when we are in that downward spiral of just being so mad, or so frustrated, or feeling so cheated or disrespected, or just, quite frankly, being so sad. Take the time to process that in its own arena. And whether it takes time naturally to come out of that, or you're able to actually say, okay, I've done that part, Now I'm going to attack this with positivity and, you know, an open mind and, you know, just more of a goal, you know, oriented, you know, attitude. Once you're able to do that, I think you'll find that it's just much more natural and easier, and also that you'll be opened up to better ways of problem solving, better approaches to take to get where you want to go, and you'll also be more open to receiving help or, you know, ideas from others, because you won't be so routed in this path of just destruction and rebellion and you know, revenge or whatever you think you're seeking when you're in that kind of angry mode. Again, this is not a judgment on processing anything in an emotional way. Everyone is different. But all of us, regardless of your emotional reaction or just your general, you know, way that you, you know, experience things or feel, as I remind you often on this channel, we all have a mind that is capable of helping us figure out the direction we want to head in. We just have to do a little management and a little process and just take a little extra time to separate the good from the bad, and then to actually choose, make the conscious choice of the direction we want to head in. We can head in any direction we want, but when it comes to seeking positive outcomes or seeking positive change or you know, really just achieving a goal where you're trying to rid of something bad that's happening and make it so that good is happening instead, the way I see it is the only way to do this is with a positive attitude and with positive energy. I do not see any situation that I can imagine, and please comment if you have one, where we can get to a positive place using negative energy. So that's it for me today, guys. I hope you enjoyed this. Send me any questions, comments about it, and otherwise have a great day. Remember, the only dumb question is the one that goes unanswered. And in addition to continuing to being, you know, head in the positive direction, let's continue to be courteous to one another and to be curious about all these things. Think about them, process them, and then get ready to head in the positive direction and get some positive outcomes for yourselves. We'll see you soon.